Okay, hi there. We are here today with Betsi Bixby of Freedom Horses from Texas. Correct. Can you tell us a little bit? Tell us a little about.
Yeah, well, Freedom Horses is soon to be nationwide, which is the really exciting part. Freedom Horses is a completely volunteer program, Chris. It is matching up volunteer horse owners with abused women, with the whole idea of having them gain confidence and courage and just being able to go and live their lives victoriously.
Okay, so how does this program work?
The way that the program works, and for people probably be watching your show that might be interested in being a host site, is we link up with a women's shelter or someone who is actually counseling abused women. And so we're not doing any counseling. There's no therapy involved. It's simply if you have a great heart for women, and
which we do because we're women,
of course,
yeah,
and have a very safe horse because we want them to have success,
right?
Then you can volunteer, and you just go to the freedomhorses.org website and raise your hand and say, I'd like to volunteer. Freedom Horses is a Christian organization, and so one of the things that we're really promoting is that for these women that have really had a hard time, that, you know, God is the answer, and we don't push that down their throats, but it's available to them. And
but it's available there for them.
Right. Prayer is part of the program. And so we're just trying to let them have some fun and let them have some success. And we did the first pilot program in Texas. We're putting on more sites right now.
Okay.
And so far, so good.
Yeah. And now, are you? How many facilities do you have so far that have hooked up with you?
Right now, we have just 3 that are actively involved in Weatherford, Texas. So we have 3 sites right there, and we're starting now to expand out of state. So we have applications right now from 12. Yeah. So we're very excited.
I got your paperwork. I'm trying to read through it all, but I'm very excited about getting that in New Hampshire, because why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if it can help someone and bring the knowledge of horses and then get the women comfortable back in their own bodies, and you know, it's like, they've had a rough road.
It's huge.
Yeah. So what are the requirements?
For a site is, number one, there's no pay involved, so it has to be on a volunteer basis. We're taking facilities of all different shapes, sizes, and kinds. The smallest one is a single horse owner.
God bless her, right?
God bless her, exactly.
Yeah.
All the way through people who have like therapeutic riding facilities and, you know, really amazing facilities.
Now, how do these women get to these facilities?
Well, the way that you have to link up, and this is one of the things we're being really firm about with Freedom Horses, is that you connect up with a site, not a Freedom Horses site, but a women's shelter or a women's group or a women's counselor. It can be through a church, it can be through a shelter, it can be through anyone that says, yes, we're available to play. What we don't want to set up is a situation where there's a dependent relationship that's created. In other words, I just want to be a Freedom Horse site. I love women. I was in an abused situation maybe, and now I'm going to have this connection with this person that now becomes dependent on you.
Oh.
Not going there.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do, the women can come and go freely. They can try it and see if they like it. If they want to come back, great. We have some women that go every single week, and we have others that, you know, might go once a month, or they'll try it and something happens in life and then they come back.
So do they actually take lessons, or do they just come be with a horse, or do they do whatever they're comfortable with?
There you go. It's whatever they're comfortable with.
They just want to come sit and hang out with other women and watch people ride. That's okay too?
Well, we'd like for them to be more experiential than that, so we really encourage them to take, because this is supposed to be to gain confidence and courage, right? So if you sit back because you're afraid, you're not taking that leap of confidence and courage.
Right.
What we're finding a lot of times is that the women, they just want to ride right away. It's like no groundwork, no nothing, just throw a saddle on and get going.
Okay, and you allow, that's okay?
If the horse is prepared and if the volunteer is prepared that way.
Gotcha.
In other words, we want them to have success. So if that would end up with a woman on the ground, that's not success.
No. It's like, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you have a horse that's really safe and you can, and the woman can get to know the horse and throw a saddle on, great. You know, because that's what they wanted to do.
Now, how do the women get to these facilities? Do you provide transportation for them, or do they have to, you know, you don't do any of that stuff, right?
The volunteers do not. What we ask ask is that they make that arrangement through the shelter. Now, with that said, I have a group in Missouri that her father, I think it was her father-in-law, actually had bought a van right before that, had no idea why God was telling him to buy a van. So God's working really well. So they're going to do actually some transportation.
Oh,
but
okay.
In our case, no. We feel that that's part of the responsibility of, stepping up and saying, hey, I'd like to do this program.
Okay.
And the first shelter that we worked with, Freedom House in Weatherford, they use this program almost like a reward. So you're doing great, you're coming along, and it's, participate in Freedom Horses. So they love it. I mean, they're like, we have more women than we have places to put them right now.
You do?
So, yeah.
That's sad, though.
Well, and this is something I've been praying about. We're dealing with the end of the road, which is, once something has happened to somebody. One of the things that I'd like to see, maybe there'll be some men watching this, but you need to get to prevention somehow, and I haven't figured that out because we're at the, as I said, we're at the end of the road.
Mm-hmm.
But also, some of the women that we're working with, they're sexual violence victims, just rape victims that had nothing to do with a domestic partner. Just were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place at the wrong time with a predator. And so they need to develop their confidence as well.
Yeah. Great. So you're here today at the Road to the Horse.
I am.
Have you excuse me, are you having a good time with it?
I'm having a fabulous time.
You are? Yeah.
It's my first time, and I just went and became a Horses Nation member,
did?
and I bought my tickets for next year.
For next year in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Kentucky next year. We actually did too.
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing you there.
You will.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Betsy, and I look forward to having this in New Hampshire.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Yay, take care.
Right, thanks.
Awesome.
Great.